What a wonderful world. What a wonderful.
Hey YouTube, it is your girl Bree Nicole, and I am back with another video talking about the process of getting into nursing school and everything you need to know. And this is going to be related to my experience in my college that I went to, but it's still going to help you out there on your process of getting into nursing school. So if you want to know about it, just continue watching. And I made notes on my little notepad, so I'm going to read off of here to make sure I don't forget anything. Okay, so my experience getting into nursing school, when I first started this community college, when my son was about 7 months old, I was new to the college, so I didn't know where anything was on campus. So when I did the application process and did my FAFSA, I saw on the website where they had an option to do a new student orientation, and I think they sent it to my email as well. It would be highly requested to do that new student orientation. So I signed up for that over the summer because I plan on starting in the fall. So I signed up for that orientation, and when I got there, there was a table, and depending on what you wanted to major in, that's how they split us up. So us majoring in any health science program, we had to go to the health science building, and we all met in like a really big classroom. So there were brochures laid out when we first walked in, and you just took brochures depending on what you wanted to apply for. So they had an LPN program, an RN program, a surgical tech program, a radiology technologist program, EMT, paramedic, medical assistant, phlebotomy. They had a lot of programs. So I just did the LPN and RN. I got the LPN and RN brochure. And so if you weren't registered already, they had laptops there for you to register. So I went over to a laptop, and there were teachers there asking about like, hey, what do you plan on majoring in? So I told them I was thinking about doing the LPN program, but I got an RN brochure just in case. So she was like, well, we have an LPN to RN mobility program here as well. So if you do LPN and decide you want to come back later to do the mobility program, you can do that. If you're just looking for something like short term. And with me having a son, 7 months old, I was like, okay, I decided on the LPN program. So we sat down, and the brochure actually had like all the prereqs listed. So I told her I just wanted to go part-time because I worked part-time and on top of being a new mom. So I only registered for 2 of the prereq courses. So that's how I got started on my journey to applying to nursing school. And on this brochure, it had the GPA, the minimum GPA needed to apply to the program, the prereqs needed to apply to the program, and also the entrance exam needed and the score on that entrance exam to apply to the program. So I think my school, you had to have a GPA of 2.0 or at least a 2.5 to be able to apply to any of their health science programs. And then my school was using the ACT, and you had to have at least an 18 on the ACT to apply to any of their programs. So I was like, okay, you know, if I do good in these prereqs, I already have a 21 on my ACT, so I don't even need to sign up to take an entrance exam. So I was like, cool. So I was taking my prereqs and doing good in those and getting ready to apply to the program. Do good in your prereqs because it will come back to haunt you. And I will tell you why later. So do good in your prereqs. Make friends in those prereqs, because guess what? If you're seeing a lot of the same people in all your prereq classes, guess what? That is going to be your competition in applying to nursing school. We learned that as well, because when I took anatomy, like on the first day, the teacher was like, raise your hand if you're applying for this. or if you're majoring in this or majoring in that. And when she named nursing, over half the class raised their hand. And she was like, ooh. So the person next to you is basically your competition on getting in that program. So make friends. If they're doing good in their classes, then they may have a good chance of getting in. So you can maybe become study buddies, and y'all could be buddies throughout your whole nursing program. So utilize that to your advantage, because I did make a friend that I found in my classes. And once you get done with your prereqs at my school, before you can even apply to any health science program, you have to sign up and attend a health science information session. And this information session is good for about 1 year, because when you attend it, you sign in, and then you're gonna have to print this paper, and they're gonna like stamp it saying with the date that you went and with your name. It's gonna have your name and everything on it. I think once you sign up for the session, they're gonna email you that paper, and you have to print it off and bring it, and then they're gonna stamp it. And you're gonna need to attach that to your application when you apply for whatever health science program. And at this information session, it was like a Q&A thing. They went over the most asked questions from students applying to programs. They just talked about their programs and what to expect. And it was a Q&A. It was really good because you could ask them any questions that you had about the programs that you are applying for. So it only lasted in about an hour, but like I said, it was really beneficial. And once they stamped that, you had to keep that and make copies of however many programs you plan on applying to. So I was only planning on applying to the LPN program, so I only had one copy, because after I got done with my prereqs and everything, I went to that health science information session. Now it was time for me to fill out my application. So I went through the application process. I had to staple my unofficial transcript to the application, and also had to staple that health science information session paper saying that I went to my application. And my school went by points systems. So you start off with what you made on the ACT. So I'll just do myself. I made a 21. So I started off with 21 points in column A. Column B, you have to put there was a list of the prereqs, and you have to put your letter grade in the next column. If you made an A in a prereq, you got 2 additional points. If you made a B in a prereq, you got 1 additional point. And if you made a C, just, passing, you didn't get no additional points. So I think the only thing I made an A in was math. I made a B in anatomy 1 and a B in anatomy 2. I made a B in art. No, I made an A in art because that was an elective that I chose. I made a C in speech because I hate public speaking. And psychology, I think I had made an A in that psychology course. So those were tallied to my 21 ACT score. And the net column C is if you took your prereq courses at this specific community college, you got an additional 5 points added to your points. Basically saying like, hey, thank you for taking your prereqs with us, versus like a transfer student coming in and had already taken those prereqs. They don't get those additional 5 points. So they would have to have made a real high score in their ACT. So that was the column A, column B, and column C. And then at the end, you were to total your points. And that's how they ranked you when applying for their nursing program. So I turned that in, and then I turned in my health science information session, stapled to it. And I also had to staple my ACT score to it, showing that I did make the 21, and also staple my unofficial transcript showing that, hey, I did make an A in this course, I did make a B in this course. So they like basically double checking to make sure you don't lie and say you made an A when you really made a C. So it takes them about 6 weeks to do all that. They tell you it'll take about 6 weeks to get your results in the mail. So next is just the waiting game. So turn to the back. After the waiting game, hopefully you got your letter saying congratulations, you've been accepted into our nursing program. And with that acceptance letter, it's going to be a huge packet of paperwork that you will need, which they also talk about in the health science information session, so you don't be surprised by anything that they're asking for, you know. So, and I'm going to go over that list of everything that is with your letter. So your cover letter is going to be like a congratulations letter. And then the next page was you have to accept your offer or decline your offer. So you have to check for I accept or check for I decline. And if you do decline, they do talk to you and ask you why. And then you sign that sheet at the bottom and date it. And it's going to be a date on there that you have to turn in your that one page. They tell you to take the packet apart, and you have to turn in that page to your program director, and they tell you, you know, like the office number and everything to take the paper to on campus. So you give them your offer letter saying that I accept my position in your nursing program to start whatever semester. That the rest of the paperwork is there was a physical form that you have to go get a physical, either with your primary care doctor at an urgent care, whatever's easier to you. You have to go get a physical done to say that you're able to perform the task needed to be done to become a nurse, pretty much. There's a flu vaccine form because you have to get a flu shot to be in a health science program at my school. There's a TB skin test form because you also have to have a TB skin test done for the nursing program at my school. And those have to be updated yearly. The TB skin test and the flu shot have to be updated yearly. So depending on if your programs, if it's 1 year, then that's all you have to worry about. But if your program's longer than 1 year, then you'll have to get those updated in between semesters. And there was a background testing form, which you had to pay for. It was a website you had to go to and enter your information and put your school and pay the $50 with like a debit card or credit card, saying that you give them permission to do a background check and to send it in to your teacher, into the health science program. And that was $50. You have to have health insurance to be in any health science program. And if you don't have private health insurance, you can buy health insurance through the school, and through the longer semesters like fall and spring, it was $250, and then over the summer it's $150. So if you don't have health insurance, yes, you have to pay for that every semester, however long your program lasts. But luckily, my dad had me on his health insurance, so I didn't have to pay for it at the time. And then there's also a CPR certification form. You have to be BLS certified, and so you can go out to like a private place and get your CPR certification, or they offer it through the school. So I just paid for it to do it through the school. It was $50. Once you paid that, you had to watch a couple of videos online. There was like a site it directed you to, and the site was on the paper as well. So you went to the site, you signed up, you paid the $55, and then you watched videos, and you had to complete a post test. And once you passed that post test, you had to then go on the school's website and sign up for an in-person CPR session. So you have to bring your certificate that they had at the end. You had to print it off. And the day that you come and do your CPR, like in-person session on the mannequins, you have to show them your certificate, and then you sign in. And the in-person session only lasted about 2 hours because we did CPR on an adult. We did it on a child, and then we did it on a baby. So that wasn't bad or hard at all. And also, you had to be updated on your vaccines. So they wanted a copy of your blue slip. When I was younger, that's what it was called, because it was printed on blue copy paper. But right now, I know that with having a child, it's printed on regular copy paper. So you had to get your blue slip showing that you were up to date on your vaccines. And they also listed the vaccines. Basically, all those vaccines that you were required to take as a baby. You had to have those vaccines, like the MMR, the rubella, the varicella, the Tdap, I believe, all of those vaccines. And I know a lot of people, like some people are against getting your kids vaccinated, but if you are against this, then, and you plan on applying for nursing school or anything later on in life, it's going to come back to haunt you, because all of those vaccines were needed. And I actually had all of those except for one, because it wasn't out the year I was born. That was why I never did have it, and it wasn't required. So when I got my physical done, I got my flu shot, my TB skin test, I also got the varicella, because I didn't have that vaccine when I was a baby because it wasn't out yet. So I got all of that done with my primary care. I didn't go to the doctor. I went to his nurse practitioner, and she did everything in that one day. So that's just something to think about. Also, if you don't have health insurance, you're going to be paying a good bit of money out of pocket for those vaccines if you do not have them. And my school wanted that official copy of that vaccine sheet, and they told us, you know, if you didn't have it, you could go to your county health department and get a copy. So luckily, my mom was good about keeping things, and she had mine. So I looked on there and seen that I didn't have the varicella vaccine. So I just added that to my list of things to do when I went to the doctor to get everything done. And this whole list had to be done before your first day of class, because I want to say I applied to start in the summer semester. So applications were due in February, and they sent these like the end of March. So you had from March until the beginning of June to get all this stuff done. You had a good bit of time, like 2 months, to get it done. So after I turned in my acceptance form, once I got all of this stuff done, I had to physically take it to the health science records person, and she inputted everything. And she will also email you and let you know, like, if you were missing something. So once I got that done, also in my acceptance letter, there was a date for a mandatory orientation related to my nursing program that I had to attend. So I attended that orientation next. Well, in between getting those things done, I attended the orientation, and they just talked about the program as a whole, the books, the calls, answered questions, and just it was like a PowerPoint, and they also had it printed off for us so we can make notes and ask questions. So they basically just went over the whole nursing program and what we needed to expect with class and clinicals and labs and everything. And then after that, all I had to do was just wait to the registration period open for the summer semester in May. And when that opened, I was able to register for my first semester of nursing school. So guys, that was my process of getting into nursing school. And I just wanted to let y'all know, like, you know, my process at my school and the things needed, because a lot of people didn't even know that you needed all of that. You needed a flu vaccine, a TB skin test, you needed health insurance, because basically with that, I guess somebody got hurt in the past at a clinical, and it's basically there just to cover the school. So a lot of people didn't know you had to get all those vaccines, and some people didn't even have access to those because they may have moved to the city where my school was, but they were born in another state. So it may have been hard for them to get access to those things. And the teachers, you know, you could go to your teachers and ask for help on how to get things, access to things. So, and all of this was also listed in the health science information session. So before you even applied to the program, they told us this in the health science information session, so you would pretty much have a longer time to get these things together if you were to be accepted. So that was also helpful in the information sessions for them to let us know about this, because a lot of this stuff, like I said, if you didn't have insurance, you had to pay out of pocket to get this stuff done, and it cost a lot. Like, they estimated it on the sheet to come around like $500 if you didn't have insurance to get all those vaccines and physicals and stuff done. So guys, that was my process on getting into the nursing program. I hope that I helped someone out with this information, and whatever other videos y'all would like to see, just comment down below and let me know. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.